But before we get started on Frederic Remington, let's talk about you, because we need to look for good character traits. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video in just a minute and answer this question. What qualities do you look for in a best friend? And you're going to write at least 3 things that you look for in a best friend. What kind of person do you want to be hanging out with? Discuss and share the qualities that you have listed. Now that you've made a list of all the great qualities that you look for in a friend, let's take a look at ourselves. What kind of things do we think about that are important to us? What qualities and characteristics? What kind of character words describe us? So let's think about the best character traits that describe us. You can use words from this list or from the list that your teacher made during the break. Once you have your character traits filled in all around your web, you're going to switch to the artist fact box. Our artist today is Remington. R-E-M-I-N-G-T-O-N. Frederic. Okay. Remington is our artist. In the box below, you're going to write one fact that you can remember about Frederic Remington after watching the video about his life. It's a short biography, only just a few minutes. But see what most impresses you about his life. Now that you've watched the video, we're going to do a little sketch of our own. This time, we're going to be doing it a little differently, reviewing facial proportions, but adding something that Remington would have drawn a lot, which is a hat, any style of hat, as long as it's not a baseball cap. So here's what we're going to be doing. Reviewing self-portrait guidelines or facial proportion guidelines. The first thing we want to do is get a nice size oval in here. Oh, I probably made it a little too big because I don't have room for my hat, but that's okay. I think I can cross the line here. I'm going to go ahead and put my shoulders and my neck in. They should go as wide as the box on your paper. The next thing I'm going to do is divide my oval. You have a choice. You can do a 3/4 style portrait, or you can do a frontal portrait. I'm going to go ahead and do a frontal portrait. So I'm going to draw a line straight down the middle. And I'm going to draw a line straight across and divide this into 4 equal quarters. If you remember from last year when we learned these facial proportions, we're going to come down about halfway and put our nose in. I like to draw this little tiny smiley face to attach my nostrils to. Parentheses. And then I'm going to come up over the line and make my brow ridge. Below the line just a hop is that same little smile again, getting ready for my mouth. Under the eyebrows, of course, are your eyes. They should sit right on the line. It goes straight through them. So I have half of my eye on the top of the line and half of my eye on the bottom of the line. When we make our final portraits on our big paper, we'll be using a mirror so you can look more closely at the shape of your own eyes and your own nose. But for today, we're just making a practice head so that you can experiment with the shapes and the facial proportions. Please make sure you're not cheating. Make sure that guideline goes straight through the middle of your eyes. I know your instinct is to move that up because you're thinking about the face, but we're talking about your entire head. So this top 1/4 of your head is actually going to be hair. So if you look at just the face, you can see the eyes are a little bit to the top of the face. But if you look at the whole head, you'll see that the eyes are actually halfway because 1/4 of your head will be covered with hair. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use my parentheses like I did on my nose down here and put my eyes in. The reason I use parentheses instead of a circle is so that I look calm and relaxed. If I draw a whole circle up here from my iris of my eye, then I'm going to look like I drank too much coffee or I'm really upset or angry. Let's go ahead and put the pupils of the eye in. I'm going to extend my eyebrow. This was sort of an eyebrow placeholder. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my eyebrows in. And down here under my nose, I'm going to make the same little smile and bring my corners of my mouth out to the centers of my pupils. Your ears also hang off of this line. This is going to be important when you put your hat in. Now, I think I'm ready to add my hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start about right here, not on the line between my eyes, just a little bit above my eyebrows. And I'm going to make this sort of large U shape. Then I'm going to take this side of my U shape and bump it over. So it's going to look kind of like a squished letter M, like somebody grabbed the end of a letter M and pulled, like a loose string. Are you starting to see the hat? I'm going to bring this around to below my ears. I'm going to bring this around to below my ears. This is the hat that is actually behind my head. And then on the top, I can add a little bit of the brim. And here, where the top of my oval is, because I want my hat to cover over the top of my head, I'm going to go ahead and add, and I'm going to make another one of these sort of stretched out M shapes for the top. I can add a hat band. Then I can start adding some hair in. I know that this section of my head, right here, these little triangle shapes, this would still be hair. So I'm going to go ahead and add the hair in. And of course, I would see hair between my face and my hat. Go ahead and give that a try. Remember, this is a video, so you can watch the whole thing straight through, and then you can start and stop it when you watch it the second time. So you can pause it while you make your oval and your guidelines, pause it while you put your eyes and your nose in, and then pause it while you try the hat. Now, for clothing, I like to think about what they would have worn in the Old West. And of course they wore ties in the eastern cities, but they also wore these kinds of ties, these sort of bow ties for the ladies and high collars. The bandanas, I think I'm going to make a bandana that goes all the way around. Not really like a bandit, but one that you could pull up over your mouth if it got too dusty. So I'm going to start at my neckline right here. And I'm going to hook out and around and cross my neckline down here. I'm going to keep going all the way to the other side and come up and hook right back up to my neck. So I'm stopping at where my neckline is right here. I'm crossing over the bottom half. Okay, this is going to be my bandana. I'm going to give it a little bumpy line. I'm going to give it a little triangle shape. And then I can draw a little knot over here on the side if I want to. A couple of oval shapes. So that tends to look more like a bandana. I can't really see any more of the front of my shirt, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Remember, this is just a practice. If you like, in your idea book, you have two facing pages like this. I'm just using the worksheet. But you have two facing pages like this. So if you want to try different hat styles, you can do that over here. Draw yourself an oval. Throw those guidelines in there. Add the hairline. That will tell you just where to make your funny shaped M. Remember, your ears are going to be hanging off this line. I don't even have to draw the face in to practice different styles of hats. thicken up the brim a bit. Add a hatband. Experiment, explore, see what kind of hats you can make. Maybe you would like to make a wide-brimmed hat. The ladies could have a wide-brimmed hat. Maybe it's a little less deep. Ooh, that's a really stretched out one. It's kind of more of a lady's hat or a pioneer hat. Makes me think of Georgia O'Keeffe, that one. All right, so get to work practicing, and then when you find a style that you really like, you'll know that's the one that you want to add in your final portrait.